This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Point on be whiteouts as well. Until further notice, we'll just wear white. Keep everything the same. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. Michael Scott, the office. I just opened. That was it. That's all I got.
Okay. So you said the last game against Kentucky, you thought it was the best shot selection of the season. Just what do you think of tonight's?
Been replaced. Kentucky moved to number 2. Tonight moved to number 1. We wrote it on our cards and on the board. We wanted our first 10 possessions to be shots that we've made in practice all year long. And we didn't turn it over one time, and we took 10 great shots. So do it again. We did it again. And I don't think we had a turnover until Amber Shirey jinxed it. So that's on her. We'll get better now. Obviously not on her, but I thought obviously our focus was really good. I think what they're starting to see is that if we do take good shots, we can score 102. If we take bad shots, we're going to score 82. So let's take good shots. Let's get each other good shots. Another 23 assists after 21 the other night, 23 the other night. So back-to-back 23s. It's a pretty good thing in 23. So good. You know, we've kind of had this little till we meet LSU again mantra. We had a little 4-game stretch with the 2 we played and with Missouri coming up and the 1 with Vandy after the bye. So to get to 2-0 in our little mini schedule, really, really happy.
Florida takes an 18-17 lead, and then kind of just a crazy play with Sam passing that half court to Aaron for the lane. Just how big of a momentum changer was that?
It was unbelievable. I was too busy arguing the out of bounds play, and Coach Todd told Aaron to go down there and post up, and Sam throws a laser and we sneak it in at the buzzer. And it's just momentum, you know, and it's that's how one play can change a lot of things. And I thought from that point on, our energy was really good. Florida's a really, really hard team to guard. And I thought that settled us a little bit. And then the second quarter, we really had some compounding effect on our first quarter.
And then last thing I have coming into it, everybody knew both teams like free throws, like 3-pointers. Y'all were pretty even on the free throws, but how big was it to just really dominate the 3-point battle tonight?
I thought we took better ones. You know, theirs were all mostly, for the most part, contested. They got a couple on us just with their good execution. I mean, they got good players. Listen, they got kids that are really hard to guard, and Kyle gives them a dominating post player that you get caught in the help every now and then, and it's just too long of a closeout. So, but I thought in the shots that we took are threes that we can make 12 out of 30. And if we continue to work hard, we might make 15 one night if that requires that. But our relentless attack of the paint against the team that, you know, turns people over for points, the fact that we weren't able that we were able to stay in attack mode, that was on every single player's individual card today, was make sure we're in attack mode. And I thought for the most part of the game we were.
Florida plays some really physical defense, even incorporating that full court press. Is that something you were expecting, and how are you guys able to break that?
No
today?
question. You don't have to watch film very long to know that's who they are. They're going to come up. They're going to make you work the length of the floor. They're going to run double teams at times at people, and they're going to mix their defenses up. We saw 2 different or 3 different presses, I think, maybe a 4th, just various changing defenses in the half court. And you know, she's got 2 kids out that are getting ready to come back, that once she gets her depth back, I would anticipate them pressing even more. So to look down and only find 11 turnovers and the shot quality that we got, that's a win for us. But no, we expected it. You know, that's the team that since she's taken over as the head coach, that's their identity. And their kids, they recruit to that, and their kids play really hard.
In that first half, Florida made a point of getting some post-ups and isolation for their bigs. How do you feel Jersey, Merriam, and Aaron handled those?
I thought we gave up a lob early, which our goal was to not let them throw lobs. If they threw it to them and they made moves, okay, fine. I thought those kids you just mentioned did fine, but I thought our guards needed to do a little bit better on a couple of times digging it out of there when they would go dribbling. We can't expect our kids to guard a polished post player like Kyle for 3 dribbles. You know, that's just, she's going to turn and get you buried so deep. But again, for the most part, I thought it was a win in that their focus on doing that took a little extra time. It did create a few turnovers. We were able to tip a few balls away. So at the end of the day, I would tell you maybe it was a wash on whether, you know, she gets 17 points, but they spent a lot of time trying to make that happen. And the kids you mentioned, I thought did a really good job. Yeah, no question. Free throws, half court layups. We fell a couple times. We were trying to draw a foul, and we probably fell a little bit prematurely. So, still stuff to improve on. Things that we can go back as coaches, and we'll be picking it. We'll be having a hard time, to find stuff to pick at, but we will, because our kids really want to get better. They've really taken on an attitude of every opportunity is a learning opportunity, and we'll find some ways to do that tonight.
What adjustments did you guys have to make when Sailor picked up that second foul early?
Just rotation. We didn't make any game plan. It's just who was doing it. Riley can play 4 positions, and it meant she was going to have to play a few more extra minutes. I would have put Sailor back in. I'm not one of these set somebody with 2 foul people. A friend of mine did a research study and said a lot of times you can lose a game setting those kids out if you're not careful, but we kept extending the lead. I kept checking with Coach Todd. My math sometimes in games not very good. We're up 17, right? We're up 19, right? And as long as we were extending the lead, I wasn't going to risk putting her back in. And I thought she managed it really, really well. Again, offensively, obviously her best percentage-wise game, but she's pretty hard on herself. She'll find some ways to. She doesn't like not playing, so. She'll do a better job. I know she won't pick up early fouls.
She had 17 in that last game and then 16 in 18 minutes tonight. Just what's been going well for her these last 2 games?
Taking good shots. She's starting to realize she doesn't have to hunt it. It's going to come, and they're going to be good ones. And then when you make those, then she can start hitting that fade away. If y'all been to practice, we haven't had many open. We have all open practices, but I know they're hard to get to. But she's dominated offensively a lot. And it's coming. She's been so good for us defensively that even on off shooting nights, you see value there. But yeah, 16, 8, and 2 assists. That's a good night in only 17 minutes. Aaron, a near triple double again, extrapolates out to if you play 40 minutes, that's a triple double for her. Thought Jersey was really good too. Thought Jersey in the absence of Sailor, she had to kind of play a little bit. Probably longer stretches, and I thought she showed that she can do that.
Chrissy said that after that LSU game, and you guys had processed it, she said that you guys told them, let's not talk about the LSU game anymore, things like that. How do you balance that with also looking ahead to that next matchup?
I think by having that little mini schedule that until we meet again, it's always in the back of your mind. But I did think it was really important that we take your butt whipping and move on. Learn from it. And we talked about it. We call them amnesty days. We've had a few of those in our career. We're talk about whatever you want to talk about today. And then when we're done with film, we're moving on. And I thought some of the points were very, very good. LSU exposed us in a lot of areas. And I think as a result, sometimes it's one of those pains that change you. And I think our prep has been a little bit more focused. Our talk with each other has been a lot better. And it's not because we're winning, it's because of how they're going about doing it. So I think the LSU game really did help us a lot. We wanted to celebrate that milestone. I probably wouldn't have had, but they called it for a double team on Avery, who's one of the best kids in the world. And the last couple of games, teams have come and trapped her and turned her over, and it's a hard thing. I told her I would never let that happen again, but it happened again. So when we got a chance to celebrate the 100, I did. Probably shouldn't have, but I almost took another one, but my better angels talked me out of that one. But I felt like when we subbed, I know they had pressed the whole game, and that's fine. They continued to press, but the run at a half court trap is the first time they had done that all game. They didn't try to do that to Mac. They didn't try to do it to Sam, but they tried it on Avery. So I just want to make sure they weren't going to put another press on us, that we were going to be ready for it. Should they break out a new triple team or something like that. Exactly. Great reference. My guy, that's my favorite Razorback. That's efficient. That's the the kid you want in your fantasy team on your points per shot. That's a stat that the NBA really uses. Anything over one in the NBA, any NBA player that averages 1 point per shot is big. So she averaged 2 points per shot tonight. And again, I thought her shot selection was really, really good. The ones that she took tonight, she makes all the time.
This is from Porter. So can you talk a little bit about the assist advantage 23-7 and the ball distribution with having 5 players over 15 points?
Yeah. As far as their 7, I mean, they were obviously trying to run a lot of ISOs. They were looking down and seeing where they had a matchup. So they were going to be dribbling it a lot. So, and we fouled too much. I mean, they shot 32 free throws, so they got what they were looking for. I think that assist total is a little deceiving for them, but for us, I think it's a result of focusing on cutting, focusing on moving without the ball and not taking some bad shots that we've been taking in the past. As we moved them from side to side, Coach Todd's been keeping a new little stat for us on our efficiencies when we puncture the paint more than one time per possession. I'll be anxious to see what that number looks like, but I bet it's really high again.
And then you held Florida to 35% from the field and 22% from 3. What has been the biggest key in holding teams to low percentages?
Our scouting has been on point. We've got a really good system going in our office. We've got a lot of people helping. Everybody's got a role and everybody's had really good input. And then I think we went, once we turned the calendar over to the new year, we changed our prep up a little bit. We do a skill development day, 2 days out, where we really work on individual skills. And I think our kids are improving throughout the year rather than just always focused on the scout. We do that for about 40 minutes. Then we watch film on our next opponent. Then we go to work on that opponent. So I think the attention to detail on continuing to skill development, but then when it comes time to focus in on that next opponent, it's so laser focused that our kids are really, really locked in. And you know, when your coaches are doing a great job in the film and able to predict, our last several games, our coaches have absolutely nailed what the other team was going to try to do against us. There's not been very many surprises. So credit to them on that, and then a credit to our kids on how they've approached the execution of preparations.
And then switching gears to Missouri, you want to talk about?
I heard they won tonight. Did I see that right? They beat Alabama at Alabama. And it's going to be a typical Arkansas-Missouri battle. We know each other probably as well as anybody because we've played each other 2 times a year for as long as we've been. I think the schedule's been done this way. So, Haley Frank is one of the best makers in our league. She makes tough shots. It appears to me, the little film I've watched, that they've really, with Lauren Hansen and with Haley Frank and then Haley Troop, they've really built it around those 3 guys. And then the other players have been really, really good in their role. I think they've only lost a couple of games. I mean, they're confident. They've had a good year in the net. So it'll be a good matchup. We've always had great games with them up there at their place.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.